Dear friends, Ukraine is on fire. On the 24th of February 2022, Putin has given an order to start barbaric, brutal war, totally unprovoked war against peaceful and democratic nation, against Ukrainian state. Since then, what we are seeing is our civilian targets, our civilians being attacked, our schools, kindergartens, hospitals being destroyed and damaged. We are seeing the cars of civilians who are trying to escape to the safe place are being blown up. We are seeing our people being killed on the doorsteps of their homes when they are refusing to give occupiers the food. We are seeing atrocity across the country, and right now our cities in the north, in the east, in the south of Ukraine are being shelled, bombarded, basically pounded by prohibited by Geneva Convention bombs and weapons. They are attacking from the air, they are attacking on the ground, they are violating all the humanitarian rules of the war combat. And that means that Russian Federation has started the war against the whole Ukrainian nation. They are carrying out genocide against the 40 million nation in the center of Europe as we are speaking today with you. We are seeing that Russian Federation has already occupied several nuclear power stations of Ukraine, took them under control. We're talking about Chernobyl and about Zaporizhzhia power stations. In Chernobyl, over the last 24 hours, the electricity grid was lost and broken. That means that for the next 24 hours, if we are not let there to repair this power station and this electricity grid, the whole Eastern and Northern Europe will be under radioactive threat. But Russia doesn't stop there. Russia is trying to attack yet another third nuclear power stations in Yuzhno-Ukrainsk and has two more targets in Khmelnytsky, in Rivne, which are not more than 150-200 kilometers away from the border with Poland, which means that this war that is being fought on Ukrainian territory today is not the war against exclusively Ukrainian nation. If it fails, if we fail, and if we fall to this Russian attack, this war will further spill over to the other territories and regions, also in Europe, but actually worldwide as well. Therefore, Ukrainians are crying out for the support. We are crying out for the no-fly zone over Ukraine, and we are crying out for the military reinforcement, massive military reinforcement of Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian society that stood up to this challenge, that stood up to this threat, being united and courageous and ready to defend its country, but moreover to defend the free world. We are asking, if you cannot do the no-fly zone over the whole territory of the state, we are asking at least the no-fly zone over the nuclear power stations and over humanitarian corridors that so scarcely are being given by the Russians for our people to find refuge in the safer places across the country or fleeing as refugees abroad. We are grateful for all the borders being open for our people to find safe places, but this is not enough in this particular moment. Unfortunately, all of those who are afraid of Putin and who are afraid of the escalation of the conflict are making a drastic miscalculation, a disastrous, critical mistake. Because the Third World War has already started on the territory of Ukraine by Russian Federation. And if Ukraine falls, Ukraine fails, it will go further to other parts of the world. Dear friends, Stop being afraid of Putin. His army is basically incapable. Yes, he is bombarding us and he is destroying our cities, but the 3-4 times bigger armed forces than Ukrainian ones have not been capable of capturing any of the big Ukrainian cities over these 15 days of war that we are fighting on our land against the occupier. These armed forces, they are capable and professional only in raping, in looting, in killing civilians. That means that the world can, by reinforcing Ukraine, help us to protect not only ourselves, but help us to protect all of you as well. Be creative. Behave hybrid way, as Putin is violating all the international rules, even of the war combat. You can, as we need those planes, as we need air defense, if you cannot transfer it directly to Ukraine, present it to some other third nation. We will buy it from the third nation. We will find the way to bring it here, but just allow us to have access to those most needed weapons in order for us to be capable in protecting our motherland and you with the values that you've been speaking about, that you've been saying you respect, that you've been saying that you are ready to defend. I'm sure that Western nations do remember the atrocity of the Second World War, and that you do understand that today we're dealing with the new Hitler on the European continent, and we together have to stop this sick madman, this dictator, from spreading his attack further. You know, Martin Luther King once said that we will not remember the insults of our enemies, but we will remember the silence of our friends. So I'm sure you will not remain silent. I'm sure you'll be pushing all your governments to act today, because every minute of delay, every hour of delay means additional Ukrainian lives being lost, means our civilian death toll growing. I'm sure that is not something that you want to watch from the screens of your TVs. I'm sure you want to ensure that this is not happening. You were saying never again. That never again is happening today. So it's up to us whether we will live up to our promises, whether we will live up to our beliefs after the Second World War, and whether we will help Ukraine to protect itself and to actually protect the free world. We are counting on you. Give us weapons, a lot, air defense, anti-tank missiles, anti-rocket missiles, protective gear. That is something that will save Europe from the war. Thank you.